Good afternoon or good evening, gentlemen, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me today. I want to briefly talk about No Nut November. So it's November, and there is the No Nut Challenge, which is happening. And I believe it has a few cousins like Movember and a few other challenges that happen. Um, I think challenges have their place. Um, Today, we're going to be specifically talking about your out of control sexual behavior with pornography and masturbation. And I'm going to be telling you and sharing why this entire No Nut November thing, for the most part, is not really going to help you if you are serious about ending your out of control behavior. The first thing I want to say is that I want to clarify is that a lot of the brothers who are seriously following the porn reboot system are not worried or concerned or do not participate in No Nut November. They're working on things, at a deeper level. But there are some brothers in the first stage of their reboot, which is what we call the pre-reboot stage, and some brothers who may not have been participating in the porn reboot system as much as they should, who are susceptible to doing something like No Nut November. So first of all, to be fair, let's talk about the pros because this is a challenge that many men engage in, including many men who follow porn reboots. So let's talk about a few of the pros. The first one would be that going for 30 days over the month of November and trying to control your out of control behavior is with pornography and masturbation is a great way to build momentum. So if you've been stalled, if you're a guy who uses streaks and you've been having bad streaks for the last couple of months, and you need something that has momentum and energy behind it and multiple people doing this and support, well, yeah, like No Nut November is a great way to jumpstart the I wouldn't say the reboot process, just jumpstart the process of controlling your behavior better. Another benefit is that there are a lot of men who are going to be sharing their wins, which is the one time in the year that gentlemen who are not following any specific system are prone to do this. Of course, there's also a lot of like bullshit that's being shared online. There are guys who are going to be sharing things like, oh my God, it's day 7 and women are taking off their tops for me and falling for me, and my muscles are fuller, and my lifting PRs, personal records, are crazy, and I have a six pack. All kinds of ridiculous claims are going to be made. And also, please, if there's somebody selling you a course or something, he's just like, hey, like No Nut November, magical things are going to happen in 30 days. Don't fall for something like that. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So there's going to be a lot of that, but there's also going to be a lot of legitimate wins, things that are encouraging posts, and I think those are wonderful. I think it does it regardless of the circumstance. If there are a group of men coming together to do something positive and support each other, I think that's wonderful. And the final thing is accountability. This is a great time to find people who are going to be accountable, who are going to keep you accountable, albeit it's only going to be for the month of November for the most part. But hey, better 1 month than nothing, right? And those would be the only pros of No Nut November. There are a bunch of cons, and I'm going to share them with you guys. The first is um, all of this is mostly reliant on willpower. And willpower is not going to get you to freedom from your out of control behavior. You do need some sort of system, and you do need to learn how to work with your brain instead of against your brain. So you're going to be harnessing your willpower to pull you through the month of November. And I do wish you all the best. You'll probably, I hope you accomplish this, but understand that that same willpower is not going to be around in the months after this. Think about this. For those of you who are in the United States, for those of you who are in a Western culture or even a different culture that has the holidays around November and December, you are doing something that requires a lot of willpower when traditionally speaking, most businesses, most of your careers get very busy, towards the end of the year. There are people whose businesses or or careers involve like Black Friday, and then for the Americans there's Thanksgiving, and then the holidays in December are coming around. For those of you who hope that the momentum you've built from No Nut November is going to carry through December. And with all these things comes the risk of relapse, increased stress from working more. There is some unresolved issues, sometimes with family members. Sometimes we have very strong emotions that come up during holidays because of things that happened in the past. Sometimes our diet gets lax. Sometimes we have this unconscious need to relax. Oh, come on, it's Thanksgiving, it's the holidays. I should get a little lax on, my discipline and the things I'm doing to control my behavior. Not to mention that unconscious belief that it's the end of the year. And when I look back at my year, I don't feel like I've accomplished that much. Not, I know this isn't the case for everybody, but for some of you may feel that way. I haven't accomplished that much. So, what's the point? This is the time you choose to do something like No Nut November, because No Nut starts with N and November starts with N, right? So again, that's one big con. Another one is counting days. This is you. You may be a brother who is trying to follow certain aspects of the porn reboot system, and you're like, all right, fine, I'm not going to count any days, but everyone else is counting days. What happens when you count days? Well, you're counting down towards something, and of course, you're expecting that something is going to happen at the end of the month. But brother, what if nothing happens, right? What if you don't become more attractive to women? What if your urges are still very strong? What if you start experiencing withdrawal symptoms, in the last couple of days of November? What if that's when it kicks in for you? Because everyone has a unique biochemistry, right? What are you going to do? So again, it sets up all these expectations, and there's this ideal that we're trying to accomplish by the end of the month, and nothing happens, right? What if nothing happens? And I know there are a lot of coaches or whatever out there, NoFap and semen retention coaches, who are going to use No Nut November as a time to shill their products to y'all, so that, because they're like, yeah, all these wonderful things are going to happen to you, at the end of the month. We're going to support you in No Nut November. Brothers, I'm going to support you guys every month of the year. I don't care. But I'm not going to, this is my personal belief and my professional belief, I'm not going to make a specific month more special than the other, right? I think there are certain months where men are prone to slip and relapse, but realistically speaking, when it comes to time, there is no perfect time of the year to begin the reboot process. I don't think that January is a special time to do so, right? I don't think November is a special time either. Another con is there is a tendency to compare yourself to others. If you're a brother who's been struggling with low self esteem, which is not uncommon if you've been struggling with an out of control sexual behavior for a while, well, you're seeing all these gentlemen who are um, doing well, right? Willpower, they're crushing it, they're not slipping, they are bullshitting about all the superpowers they're gaining and how amazing. And what if you just keep slipping? Like you try, you do well for a week, for a couple of days, and you slip. What happens then? Right? Well, there's a chance that you feel a little bit down on yourself. You feel like there's something inherently wrong within you, and that these guys are better than you, and you're just this weird guy who's unable to do No Nut November with everybody else. When that's not true, right? In Porn Reboot, we teach progress over perfection. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to go every single day of the month without slipping, right? You are not a bad person if you cannot go for 30 days without a slip. You're not a bad person if you can't go for 1 week without a slip. We've established that you already have a problem. And part of moving forward and doing so in a healthy way, brother, it's making sure that you're not beating yourself up and you're not being self critical. You've done this for years. So you don't need some challenge in a month to like, okay, so like what? If you nut in November, you failed the challenge. Why would you set yourself up for failure? Right? There's also like this false sense of accomplishment. And the false sense of accomplishment is, even if you were to get to the end of No Nut November and successfully complete the challenge, while that's a plus, that's a point, that's a bonus point, that's a win, that's something you should celebrate. But it's not the end of the journey. It still takes a long time to rewire your brain. And remember, rewiring your brain is not just about staying away from pornography. A lot of guys go like, well, JK, I was away from pornography for 1 year. Why do I still have PIED? I was like, I don't know if you have PIED. Maybe you're sexually repressed because you were trying to be perfect and you didn't watch porn, you didn't masturbate, you didn't look at another woman, you shut down that sexual aspect of yourself for 1 year because you think you're doing no-fap hard mode. Now you're fucking sexually repressed and running to me because none of these no-fap coaches and semen retention coaches, none of the CSAT therapists can help you anymore because they don't know precisely how you fucked yourself up, right? So you've got to be very, very careful because the process of ending this behavior involves you working on multiple parts of your life. You've got to work on your environment, right? You've got to build up the right coping strategies. You've got to learn how to identify your emotions and feelings before you can even control them. It isn't just about willpower and staying away from this. If you do not work on those other things, they're all going to close in on you and they're still going to cause you to slip and relapse after that, right? So, I mean, I could keep going on the cons, but I know there are some brothers who are already committed to this NoNut November thing, and frankly speaking, I don't want to derail you. Let's just take this video, and I hope you'll indulge me with this as a warning for those of you who have already begun the process on a few things to watch out for. My recommendation is that you continue what you're doing if you're already doing it, but at the same time, try to use this as a jump start, so to speak, for your reboot as a whole. So decide like, okay, I'm going to get started, but for me, no, not November. It's not I'm not a failure. I did not fail if I slip, right? All it's done for me, it's helped me create momentum. It's helped me build relationships for whatever reason, shame or guilt or procrastination, whatever it was. I wasn't able to get started on the process throughout this year, or I stalled many times. So let this be something that gets you started, but it's not going to be the be all and end all of your ending your out of control behavior. So I hope that made sense. I had a few minutes and I wanted to share it with you guys. Gentlemen, for those of you who are ready to end your out of control behavior and you're looking for the perfect time to start, well, gentlemen, every day is a perfect day to start over here at Porn Reboots. Get on a call with one of our reboot strategists if you are ready. If you are an ambitious high performer, if you are a business owner, if you are an individual who is a high performer at his career, by high performer, I mean compared to your peers in your industry, you are among the top 10%. Go ahead and get on a call with one of our reboot strategists. And if you're not ready for that, if you're like, JK, I'm not ready to get on a call or anything like that, at least consider joining our group if you need support, if you need an accountability partner, if you want to learn a little bit more about the porn reboot system. I will tell you this about our group. We are very selective. If you've got like some cartoon, or if you've got a celebrity, or you've got some just weird shit on your profile, we will not accept you and we will not message you and you will not be allowed to get back into the group. Our group is absolutely private. Nobody is going to know if you post anything, so no one in your friend group. So it's absolutely fine to join with your real profile that has your real picture on it, because there are real men in our public group. With that being said, I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for really indulging me with the NoNut November thing. I really didn't want to put a video out about it, but what can I say? I'm compelled. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I will speak to you later on in the week. Take care.